Well, that does it for the national anthem. First playing third, the Northstars. Their unbeaten run ended by the very Mustangs last weekend up in Newcastle. The Northstars looking to avenge said loss as they play game one of a doubleheader here in Melbourne this weekend. Hello, everyone. My name's Steve White, and joining me shotgun, as he always does, good afternoon to Rod Johns.
Good afternoon, my friend. Great to be here.
Now, this is an interesting matchup because, as we said, Mustangs ended the unbeaten streak of the Northstars the last weekend. Northstars a little depleted. Dominic Gabai injured, and Andre Smart, this is his last weekend in the AIHL. So how do you see this one playing out?
Well, it's a very interesting one, isn't it? I would think if I was the Northstars, I'd come in here and I'd want to prove a point, okay? I think they're pretty surprised to lose at home. So they'll, I think, pull out all stops and have a serious go at the Mustangs. And the Mustangs, in turn, are going to have to expect solid goaltending.
Yep.
And they're going to want to kick it off from the start and go right after the Northstars and set the stage. And if they don't do that, it's going to be a long night.
Absolutely. And your starting goaltenders for this evening's game, it's Dane Davis in net for the Northstars, 34 years old. Save percentage of .913 in 7 games played. And getting the start for the Mustangs, again, is Jaden Pine-Murphy. Save percentage of .907 in 7 games played this year. He's been the number one, obviously, coming into this season. Held up pretty well. He's had some great games so far, but he's got to come up big. But the Northstars, as we talked about, a little depleted. Jeff Klink is your referee for this afternoon's game, and wearing the bands, wearing the stripes of the linesman, Sierra Pereira and Fraser Olsen. Tongue-tied early as we get this one underway here at the O'Brien Icehouse. Set it in front, it goes back to the point. McMahon with a shot, good save early from Davis. As Vyasov cleans up the remainder, back now here to the skipper McMahon. Puts that one right back in. And that one shot wide. Sorry, just a little bit of feedback on the stream there. That seems to have been settled down. Here we are, this one moved out now, back now here to Bright. Bright now at the centre ice. Sends this one across to Vyasov. Picked up now here by Paddy Ward, and Vyasov picks it up back in the neutral zone, but the Mustangs are offside and will have to reset. Thomas now wearing number 37. As he was wearing 12 in the first couple of games here for the Mustangs. Andre Smart, who it's going to be his last weekend in the AIHL for the Northstars. Talked a little bit about that during the week. So the Northstars are going to have a couple of replacements. He goes straight into the bench. What a hit there from Burke. A little departure gift perhaps here for the Mustangs. And a big hit there from Jamie Burke and Andre Smart. And this one chipped into the zone. And that's Lindsay almost made a meal of that one. And the Mustangs coming up with it here on the forecheck. 13:39 to go here in the first period. There's Malloy clashes there in the corner, who had an outstanding tournament. Just speaking to him before the game about his Mighty Roos trip in Serbia. Literally flew in, landed in Serbia at 1 o'clock, got on, played at 4 o'clock and scored 5 seconds into his first shift. There's Parker Thomas now, out through centre. He's met solidly there, gets around the check of Wetney to Lindsay, but Thomas drives the net. Still has hold of the puck. Thomas. Back now here to Burke, trying to cut through centre as he so often does. A good quick streamed shot there, and Apps, his skate prevented the puck traversing, but Davis had it covered. As Anderson was camped in front there for the Mustangs. Jones throws it right back on. His turnaround shot, good save, Davis, and he covers. Well, some frantic action, but all attacking Mustangs play early.
Well, there you go. That's exactly what I said. So they've actually come out and done what they should have done. They controlled like 99.5% of the play and never really let the Northstars do anything. And if it wasn't for their goaltending, there'd be a couple goals already.
So 12:46 remaining, scoreless here at the O'Brien Icehouse in the first period of first game of this doubleheader as far as the Northstars are concerned this weekend. Quick shot from Robertson with the point tipped into the netting. We'll get a whistle. So we talked about they'll take on the Melbourne Ice here at 2 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Make sure you tune in for that one as well. This is one of 3 games being played around the AIHL this afternoon. Obviously, the Perth Thunder have the bye this weekend. The Brave and Ice Dogs get going up there in Sydney. And also the Adelaide Adrenaline and the Bears. They'll be underway shortly there in Adelaide. As this one's sent over the goal line. And that'll be Isaac
Have you heard anything in relation to Adelaide and what they're doing to try to stop the drought? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, I think they've lost 8 in a row.
To stop the bleeding's probably a better term.
Yeah.
I've got no idea, to be honest. The imports they brought over are pretty good, but they just don't seem to. I mean, they've, what, 2 or 3 seasons now where they've really been in the doldrums. We've talked about it before. 6, 7 retirements in 1 year is pretty hard to deal with, particularly at this level. But, I mean, they still, got Joey Rezek and Alex Kratoshka and those guys and some good young players. But, it'd be tough to see them not finishing bottom this year based on this form.
Well, it's very sad.
Yeah, I mean, look, we'd all want the teams to be all competitive. But anyway, this one moved into Viasa. Walking in, great save, Davis. As Lander, the recently permanent resident minted Thomas Lander, who's without one of his line mates, Richie Tazarek, who got injured in this fixture last week. As that one shot wide of the net of Jaden Pine-Murphy. He turns it aside. Lander centres, but it goes off a skate. This one sent back to the point now. Ward did a good job there to keep that one in off the newly arrived Jordan Owens, who made his debut for the Mustangs last weekend. As this one flipped up by McMahon. Batted down there by Lindsay, but straight into the skates there of Owens. Did well there to almost get that through to Bright, who was trailing. And Mainwaring turns the corner and comes back up ice now here for Newcastle. His shot is wide and off the kick plate. As Naden swats at the puck, harasses Owens, but out come the Mustangs through Burke. Burke over the blue line now. Burke just pulls up at the half wall. Well, thought about it at less. So Burke now sends it here to Jones. Jones with a shot and a good save there from Davis. And this one goes all the way back now here to Parker Thomas. Slings one out wide, picked up by Burke just inside the blue line. Gets met there by Banga. And away come the Newcastle Northstars now. Down the outside is Drolle. He gets pinned to the boards. Good check there from Erzin. He sends this one behind the goal line. And digging in here are the Northstars. 10:41. Only had 1 or 2 shots so far this game, and they haven't really troubled Jaden Pine-Murphy so far in the opening stanza. Here's Burke, stolen there by Naden, and out now here to Drolle. Northstars looking for a change. Banga left that one behind. Jones up now here to Burke. And here's Max Parent to the outside with speed and power. Parent, he tries to squeeze that one by Davis, and he holds on.
Well, that's a pretty good burst of speed for Mr. Perrant, and he's got a few tricks up his sleeve. And if he's not, if the opposition is not careful, he could be the one that'll make their day very sad.
Absolutely. And look, Max, he wasn't supposed to play this year. We were talking about this before the game, but he's found himself in the lineup.
Yep.
And pretty good addition so far.
Well, he's a solid player, and I think it bolsters their defense.
And just to speak of the devil, gets a shot there, and that's gloved easily by Dane Davis.
And on top of that, like he's offensive-minded as well, so he can make something happen and drive the play, and that's what you want.
As the face-off there won by the Mustangs. They get a shot through traffic. It's blocked Anderson, and that cleared out of danger there at the last juncture by Lander. As Lander now tried to skate onto it, beaten there by Anderson, just shoves him into the boards with pure muscle. Moved out now here to centre as Ryan prods at the puck there for Newcastle. Third line out now here for the Northstars. That's Sising, and well blown early. And
that was a bit debatable, I think.
Yeah. So looks like we're going to have a face-off at centre ice.
Yeah.
Don't forget,
you might want to explain that one too, because really in the scheme of things, that was an icing, and the goaltender went out to play the puck, and the referee blew the whistle. So that really shouldn't be going on.
No. So obviously the linesman makes the incorrect call. The face-off goes back to centre. A few new rules this year. Obviously the late hit one is the one everyone's talking about, but you've also got your face-off violations. One warning and then it's a penalty. That's changed. There's no more booting the centre out of the face-off, at least at the AIHF level. That's the AIHL level. Here's Lander now to the outside. Lander can't cut one in. He can in the end. Player's blown dead, and interference the call going against, I believe that's, I thought Anderson. Yeah, it is. All right, so the Mustangs concede their first power play to the Northstars. They'll be 4 skaters v5. Newcastle can go to work on the man advantage.
Well, you know, again, this is where the Mustangs need to dig deep with their specialty team and make sure that they don't give the Northstars anything. They've carried most of the play in this period, and the last thing they want to do is let the Northstars get on board through a penalty or through a power play.
So Bright, Stringer, Isaacson and McMahon out here for the Mustangs as Malloy had Stringer lined up, but he was wiser to it. Here's the captain, McMahon, to the outside. Throws one across the face of Dane Davis's net to no one home there. And Newcastle can regroup in their own end as 100 seconds remain on the man advantage here from the team from northern New South Wales. Starting out here is Smark. Drops this one off to Drolle. And he just powers through centre. Drolle going all the way to the net. He shoots. Oh, what a save. Oh, he's gone through and he scores. Cutting through there like a freight train was Francis Drolle. He's got the power play goal and Newcastle lead 1-0.
So watch the replay on this. He was actually allowed to freewheel right up the center, and no one picked him up as he crossed the blue line. He basically broke the defense and went right in on Jaden Pine Murphy. Thank you very much. See you later. In the gap, no one's on him. Jaden Pine Murphy gets a piece of it, but unfortunately not enough. And it just goes back to what I said right before this started. The Mustangs had carried the play, and they're down 1-0 because there's a player in the box.
Drolle's 8th goal on the season. He's 3rd among Northstars players behind only Dominic Gabai and Sammy Banga. And Lander has the puck now as he gets wrestled to the ice there by Thomas. And the Northstars looking for a second. Here's Ryan now. Ryan now looking for a wraparound, decided against it, puts it back to the point, sent back in there by Mighty Roo Lindsay. Here's Lander. Center's looking for power in front, and it's gone in! 2-0 Newcastle inside a minute. And the Northstars with a 2-goal lead. I think it must have taken a deflection there.
I think it did, mate. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's very unfortunate too, because like I just said, we were carrying the play, and now all of a sudden we're down 2-0 with 8 minutes left in the first period.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, it must have got redirected there.
I think that might have come off the skate. I think everyone's trying to search for how that went in. It might have come off the skate there of Andrew Ozen, who was jostling there with Powell. But it's getting credited there to Thomas Lander. And Thomas Lander, his 2nd goal of the season. And the Northstars, 2-0 lead inside the first frame here at the O'Brien Icehouse. And that's silenced the Mustangs faithful. As this one chipped out, Isaacson can't prod at the puck. The jester, Shane Southwood, centers this one back in to centre ice. Mainwaring now 2-on-2 break here for Newcastle. Quick shot and gloved comfortably by Pine Murphy. He holds on.
Well, Jaden's going to have to refocus here. He's going to have to just block those two out and get his head screwed on. Anders. Good morning all. Summer in Sweden. Pickled herring breakfast. I love you, Anders. Can't be any better. Is that pickled herring on toast, dude, or what is it, mate?
Don't eat it, please. Here's Banger. He's shot, and it just goes wide. And that one, no threat there to the net of Pine Murphy, but there may be a potential threat to the scoreline here as Smart just tried to keep this one in. Did pretty well there. And a shot there. It's loose in front, jamming, and there was Drolle on the rebound. And the Mustangs under attack in their own end as Flack now moves it out here for the Mustangs. And the Northstars seem to have found their groove. Despite the first few shifts, it was the Mustangs doing all the attacking, and now it's become a case of the pendulum swinging back the other way. 7:26 remaining here in the first frame. Almost read there by Lander. Picked up now here by Anderson for the Mustangs. Gets the nutmeg there on Ryan at the blue line. It's dug in there by Ryan, who goes back for a second effort. Anderson has the puck, though. Chips it through, or attempted to at least. And Newcastle come away with it now. Chip and chase here by Ryan. Landers on the forecheck too. He's going to be first to it. He gets hammered there by Thomas, looking for the hit. As Burke chips this one out to centre. Here's Jones. Got 2 Northstars players to deal with. Here's the delay now here to McDowell to the outside. Lost control. Lindsay right on his tail. Spent back to the other corner now. Powell and Jones do battle. Powell slaps this one out. It's fired out of the zone finally, as the Northstars will try and get a change of personnel on the ice, but they've got to be quick because the Mustangs have turned the puck over and they might get caught on a change. Here's Robertson, flies it through here to Jones. He loses it, shoots, and he scores!
Oh, yeah.
Sean Jones answers for the Mustangs, and he cuts the lead to the Northstars to 1. It's 2-1.
So that was a great little play by Mr. Robertson to see where Sean Jones was. And you're right, there was a line change going on, and a guy got caught, and all of a sudden it's 2-on-1. A perfect pass. Right, left, bingo. Couldn't have asked for anything more. Fundamental breakdown, and it gives you a goal.
So 3rd goal of the season there for Sean Jones. And the Mustangs back in this one after a
couple of lean shifts there midway through the first. And this one sent around now here to Vadim Vyasov. Has to be quick, gets the puck out now. Here to Owens, gets the check there from Malloy. Sent in front, oh, nearly a tip there from Vyasov.
I think there's a penalty coming, dude.
It looks like there is indeed. It's going to go against Newcastle. They get the 6 skater out, do the Mustangs. It's dropped off. Vyasov can't control it. Mainwaring touches it. And it looks like Rob Malloy is getting the gate for interference. Disputing the call, but it'll be Mustangs to the power play.
Where was that? Along the boards in front of their bench?
Yeah, just in front of the bench there.
What do you reckon?
Let's have another look. So Owens gets rid of the puck. Malloy, yeah.
Well, or
he's already sort of committed to the check.
Hit.
But yeah, well, yeah, I'll vow.
Yeah,
Well, they can be start on that bloody rule. But moved out to Robertson. Case either way. Sit on the fence on that one. Here's Robertson now.
Picket fence?
Yeah, it's going to be sharpened pretty soon, I'm sure. Here's Barrett with his shot, and Davis kicks that one out and fired out there by Thomas Lander. 146 on the man advantage here for the Mustangs. And this one rimmed around off the kick plate. McDowell forced to go backwards to go forwards. Parent now backhands this one across ice to Burke. Smark had him laid up. As Parent is going to go in on the forecheck versus Smark. He gets ridden into the glass. The Mustangs take control of the puck now here through Burke at the point. Slides it across here to Robertson. Great diving poke check there by Lander just to buy his team a couple of seconds at most off of this penalty kill. And Southwood beat Burke. Burke now just wheels around, has to drop it off now here to Michael McMahon at the top of the circle. McMahon, it's had a good season so far. Back to the point to Thomas and McMahon. Back to Thomas, looking for a shooting lane, thought about it, tries to isolate Michael McMahon. His shot goes just across the face of the net of Dane Davis. And back into the corner it goes. 50 seconds remaining here on the power play for the Mustangs. Owen slides it across, McMahon to the back door, and he went digging for it. And Paddy Ward with some good D prevented that opportunity there for the Mustangs. 4:46 remaining in period number 1. Here's Owens, wheels around. Back now here to Thomas trailing, and Davis saw it all the way. And the Mustangs, that's hunting for goal number 3 here. Here's Vyasov, top of the slot. He shoots, and a quick save by Davis. Loose in front, Owens goes down. Fans want a penalty. I don't think there's much in that.
I think he lost an end.
Yep, and Thomas manages to keep the play alive onside, but the Northstars will dump this one in, and McMahon will pick it up all the way back at his own end as the penalty to Rob Malloy about to expire, and he'll rejoin the action here at the O'Brien Icehouse with 4:10 remaining in the first. 2-1 the score in favour of Newcastle. Robertson just, well, he shot that one in, but it went straight off the linesman. Flack. It's a 3v2, and I don't think either coach is going to be happy with how many players are in one part of the ice there.
That's right.
There's Drolet. A couple of rough spots on the ice over there. Both Apps and Drolet had a bit of a trouble skating through. 3:43 to go, 1 goal margin. Bangor now. Cassiu's Parent just powers through the Senators' Parent, but lost control just as he was about to get some daylight on both of those North Stars defensemen. As Flack goes to the ice, Robertson going to pick this puck up in the corner. Centers one, and is picked off now here by Bangor. Sorry, excuse me, that was Wetney. Bangor gets the puck eventually and flies this one in on Pine Murphy, who is forced to cover.
I don't know if you've noticed it, but the Mustangs on the attack, they've got a guy on the blue line, right? And he knows he's covered, so he just simply redirects the puck in and they chase it. They must have done that 3 times. Anders, the answer to your question, it's toast with sliced hard-boiled eggs, sour cream, pickled herring, and raw onion on top. Yummy.
Ugh.
Dude,
no.
all you need is a few beers and maybe you'd be partying down.
Might wash away the aftertaste at least. Here's Jones now, backhands this one out, and Burke was hunting, as he so often does there at the opposing blue line. Davis plays this one now here to Rob Malloy. As I was talking to before the game, he's just welcomed his second child into the world as Lander gets sandwiched there by Thomas.
Yeah.
Great hit. As Drolet all the way back now here to Smark. And that one went over the stick of Thomas Lander. Looks like it's going to be icing.
So that was a good hit, and if you watch it, all he does is redirect himself and cut the opposing player's direction into the offensive end off, and nothing dirty, just get in his way, right?
Parker Thomas, as we talked about, since arriving in the AIHL, has stamped his authority. Look at that great hit. Lander unwary, Thomas just lowered the boom. So,
Can you hear me or no?
Looks like there was a issue there with a line change at the icing, as Lander was disputed to still be on the ice. But play continues. 2:42 now. Vyasov has to shake a couple of North Stars defensemen. Can't shake Smark. It's moved out now. Powell slapped at there by McMahon. And Malloy. 2-on-2 there for Newcastle. Here's Isaacson. Isaacson just keeping inside the blue line, keeping the play alive as North Stars try to force that one out through Powell. 3-4 North Stars players on one side of the ice. Here's Malloy. Good check from him. Tried to separate Isaacson from the puck. And Vyasov looking for the return feed there to Isaacson. And that one's sent out through centre. And McMahon, the skipper, will settle it down here for Melbourne. As Vyasov just gets a clean zone entry. Owens and Bright both going to the net. Goes to Owens. Now try to drop that one off for Isaacson. All the way back now here to McMahon. He slaps one on net and that's gloved by Davis. We'll have a whistle.
So it's interesting, and if you watch that play again at the blue line, there was probably 3 North Stars and Isaacson, and not one person hit him.
Yep.
Okay? So he somehow managed to weasel his way through, and he shouldn't have got over the blue line.
Yep.
Thank you. From the bottom of the Mustangs' heart.
Let's talk about John F. Kennedy taking over the reins, the coaching reins this season. He'd been unbeaten, as we said before the show. Coming into this game, coming into the Mustangs game last weekend in Newcastle, and we're going to avenge that loss. This one's sent out of the zone. Parent got checked there as he dished it off to Anderson, who flipped it out to centre. Stolen by Sammy Bangus, second-year player for Newcastle, and played a third of a season as he arrived last year. He's been in good form since arriving here for the team in red, white, and blue. As Flack now gets the return feed, and that one's blocked aside by Dane Davis. Sent back now here to Robertson. His shot, and Davis read that all the way through traffic. We'll get a face-off. 109 remaining in the first.
So Mr. Banga, he's leading the whole shebang.
Yep.
I've got him with 23 points.
Yep. 10 and 13.
In 8 games.
Yeah.
Right?
He's
How about that? That's
yeah.
almost 3 points a game, right?
Lighten it up. And only 2 penalty minutes.
Almost. Maybe it is 3. My mathematics has gone out the window. No, not quite.
Yeah, look, that line, I mean, Dominic Gabay unfortunately down injured. He talked about there with his, he broke his thumb last week's game. And well, he's pretty much, it's going to be, well, I know the inside word. I won't say it on air about his playing status. But yeah, he's had surgery on Wednesday. So he's going to be out for some time at least. As this one's sent across now here to Dave Ferrari. Naden picks it up now in his own zone for the North Stars. Got a couple of Mustangs to deal with, and it goes back now here to Ferrari. Rims the puck around. Thomas just keeps it onside, much to the protest there of the Newcastle bench. Assistant coach Joey Terrio getting quite animated over that offside call. Here's Burke now. Don't say I don't show you enough love on the podcast here, Joey. He was having a go on me before the game, but I have to get him back on. Here's Burke now, over the blue line and to the outside. Stretch it down here to McDowell. And that play cut out by the North Stars defense. 15 seconds, maybe time for one last scoring opportunity here for more so the Mustangs than the North Stars, given the ice position of the puck. And the North Stars now breaking out here with the last drive. Main Waring just forced to sling that one into the corner and get a line change. And that will do it here after one period of play. It's the Newcastle North Stars 2, the Mustangs 1.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question. I wonder if Main Waring actually knew where the clock was at the time, because why would you dump the puck with 5 seconds left to get a line change?
Yeah.
When you have one thing in mind, and that's to take a shot.
Indeed. Oh well. He'll, I'm sure he'll hear that one as he goes to the rooms.
From Joey? You can put a plug in for Joey again.
From everyone. So, at the end of the first, it's the Newcastle North Stars 2, the Mustangs 1. We'll be back with a second period of play right after this. And welcome back to O'Brien Icehouse here in Melbourne, where the score is the Newcastle Northstars 2 leading the Mustangs 1. A couple of score updates from around the AIHL, where there are only 2 other games being played tonight. The Adelaide Adrenaline lead the Sydney Bears 1-0 after the first period. That's their first lead in 319 minutes of hockey this season. And it's scoreless between the Sydney Ice Dogs and the CBR Brave at the Macquarie Ice Rink after 1 as well.
Only you would know that. Where's
Well,
Statsman?
No, someone tweeted that, so I just had to read that. That is an interesting statistic, though, because I don't think from memory they led in any. The only 2 games they did really well in against the Mustangs and the Ice in the first round, they didn't have a lead. So McMahon now. It's feathered out now here to centre. Here's Vyasov over the blue line. Vyasov now, and progress delayed there legally. Sent in front, and that goes past Dane Davis's net. Of course, there's just the 2 games being played tomorrow. The Adelaide Adrenaline and the Mustangs, excuse me, that's next weekend. I'm getting ahead of myself there. But tomorrow, the Thunder and the Bears will play 1, and the North Stars and obviously the Melbourne Ice will play here at about 2 o'clock Australian Eastern Time. The Bears with the longest road trip in the AIHL currently. Adelaide followed by Perth. Usually it's Perth-Adelaide on the way home, but switched up this year. I think they're the second team to do it this season, if I recall correctly. Here's Malloy, ends up over the top of his opponent in the corner. It's fished out now here to Mainwaring. He's got Naden at centre ice, tried to chip that one out to him, and Lane did pretty well there to cut that one off, but the North Stars will gain that one and dump it in on the net of Pine Murphy, who will have to cover as Drolet was going hard to the net.
So, I don't know if I should say this or not, but I'd like Adelaide to win. And I hope Wayne Hellier's not listening to that. But it would be good for their
morale.
Morale, absolutely, and probably be good for the league too.
Yeah. As this one's sent all the way back. Jones is in behind the North Stars defence, but doesn't have really anyone else in support. Here's Burke arriving late. Back to Thomas at the point. Winds up, and that's calmly grabbed by Dane Davis, and he'll cover for the face-off.
So, in the intermission, at the end of the intermission, there was a bit of a delay because they were putting the nets down.
Yep.
So it's probably worth having a little chat about that, because you and I were I think, annoyed last game when we called the game. A number of times the net came off because of the mounting arrangements.
Yes.
And we weren't the only ones who were annoyed.
No, and they haven't come off once this game. The deep pegs are in, finally. So it was a big talking point for a couple of weeks now around the league, and now that's been rectified. Here's Burke, lined his opponent up and moving in front, and they just put that wide as Wetney went looking for goal number 3 here for the North Stars. As this one's rimmed out desperately there by the Mustangs, and that is going to be icing and a face-off to the left of Jaden Pine Murphy.
So you might watch that again, and you can say where the North Stars actually broke around the defenseman. They were allowed to walk in. Annan Pencil. Well, let's see if the Mustangs can't surge ahead this period. Got to stay out of the box, especially when they have momentum. Well, never a truer word was spoken, my friend. So you must be a very sharp pencil, because you're thinking exactly what I'm thinking.
All right. Okay. On point there, Rod. And so as this one moved out.
And let's hope that they have a sense of humor.
Yeah. Well, they needed it in San Jose this week after what happened. But anyway, this one slipped through. Lander just got a stick on it and cancelled out icing. Here's Lane. Oh, that's a late. Yeah, that's silly penalty there from Powell. Didn't even touch the puck. It's called boarding. Okay.
I was talking about this in the intermission, that there's many ways to skin a cat, and it's interesting to see how they define the calls that they make.
So it's late hit is just the call. So we didn't even touch the puck, I don't think. So here's the... Oh, he did, sorry, yeah, but puck was well gone.
Yeah.
So the late hit rule strikes again. It's been called a few times here at the Icehouse already this season.
So it's interesting now is that, like, if that late hit hadn't come in, would you call that interference, or would you just look the other way?
Yeah, well, it would be covered under interference as this one moved now here to McMahon. As Thomas to Vyasov. That one stuffed short side. Davis shuts the door.
So and in pencil. I think that's pretty cool. We talked about that last game, that someone would watch this from San Jose and go to the trouble of tweeting us. So bring it on is all I have to say.
Yeah, I don't think, I suspect there might be a couple of St. Louis tweeters, maybe.
Oh, well, that's good. Who are you going for, dude?
As a Chicago fan, it's absolute sacrilege that I support St. Louis. But on the other hand, I would like to see them win a cup. They haven't done it ever.
St. Louis.
Yeah.
Well,
rematch. This is a rematch of the 1979 Stanley Cup Finals. The infamous Bobby Hoare dive. As this one move back now here to McMahon. Smark. It's rimmed off the dasher. McMahon. Oh, I thought that was offside. It was. And we'll get a whistle.
So I'm going for St. Louis too. And I'll admit the reason why I'm going for St. Louis, and I'm probably going to get chastised for this, but I don't like Mr. Marchand at all. At all.
I don't think anyone outside of Boston does, but he has a role to play, I guess, but he is the king of the Slewfoot.
Yeah. Did you see the interview they did with him?
No.
It was absolutely hilarious, mate.
Yeah.
The interviewer comes up and asks him a question, and it's all one-word answer. He asks him 3 questions, and in the end he just said, well, this is a waste of time.
He plays his role so well, though.
He does.
He does.
I'll give him that.
Yeah. He has. I will give it to him. He has, considering past seasons, he's cleaned it up a bit, but he's still that little agitator. That some of the plays he made in previous seasons were very dangerous. Anyway, that's a debate amongst, I'm sure, Bruins fans and every other fan who's not a Bruin fan. That's a bit of a redundant statement.
He actually has a bit of a skill set too.
Oh, he does, absolutely. Yeah, he can score. He can play. He's not just, one-dimensional player. Anyway, here's that one shot, and Davis saves that one. Malloy tried to cream that one out of the zone off the dasher, and Robertson cut it off at the blue line. Sent it in front, and that's just out over the blue line. As Parent back now here to Burke. Burke now top of the circle. He shoots into the chest of Davis. It goes, and he holds on.
Yeah, well, he had McDowell, and he used McDowell. The goaltender wasn't really sure what was going to happen there, and unfortunately for Jamie, he shot it at Mr. Davis's body.
And Dane Davis, big goaltender, takes up
Absolutely.
A lot of space. So, you really got to pick your corners.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that's what he was trying to do. Maybe he didn't get enough on it,
Oh, he's Thomas Lander still playing under the old rules. Booting the center out. There's Naden now. Thomas. And his pass, the long-range pass now here for Anderson. Got Lindsay to deal with. And North Davis came out to clear that one and didn't get all of it. This one shot out to center ice, and here's a break now here for the Northstars. Here's Lander off to the races. He shoots and he scores! Thomas Lander has made it 3-1 here for Newcastle. And it's a 2-goal lead here to the Northstars.
Well, that was interesting because there was confusion behind the Northstars. And what really happened is that Davis went out to clear the puck, and his own player sort of got in his way because they were both going at it. But then isn't it funny that from that comes a break, and the next thing you know, the puck's in the net at the other end.
So Thomas Lander, that's his 2nd goal of the game. It's his 3rd on this season. And the 3rd here for Newcastle tonight, and they lead by a pair. It's 3-1 here to the Northstars as they break in here through Banga. Whitney's out there as well. Just chips this one off the boards. 10:05. Back now here to the point to Ferrari. Throws one on net, and that one's steered aside by Jaden Pine Murphy. And so we're getting dumped there. It's going to be a roughing at least.
Is it Jordan?
Nah, Damien Bright. So,
well, that's not very good, is it? You got 3-1, 10 minutes left, and now you're trying to kill a penalty. It's the last thing that you want because you really want to have the opportunity to score another goal and stay on the coattails of the Northstars. But if they don't kill this penalty, it'll be 4-1. So let's hope that there's good discipline and they can wind this down.
So the Northstars, they get a goal, then they get a power play. 9:48 here in the 2nd period as Newcastle lead by a pair, looking to extend their lead. And here comes Smark now over the blue line, drops this one off of Banga, just backs into the zone, gets pushed there into the boards by Robertson. Good job from him to separate Banga from the puck, but Banga goes back
for a second bite. The Mustangs come out of the zone, though, with numbers and a potential 3-on-2 if they can hurry. Here's Robertson, drops it off to Apps, and he just didn't have control. Went off the heel of his stick, and it comes back the other way here for Newcastle. Slid out now here to Naden. Naden sends it in front. Oh, what a play there, as Drolet was going hard to the net, looking for his second. And Isaacson goes back the other way here for the Mustangs, with Parent going through the net. Oh, what a play and what a save! Wow, coast-to-coast hockey here in this last 30 seconds or so.
And check out the pass too, okay? So that was a great little flip pass, okay? A saucer pass right onto the stick of Perron, and it was a good save by Davis.
So there's the penalty there for Bright. And
watch this. Nice little saucer pass, and maybe didn't get enough wood on it, but it was a great play both ways. Good goaltending and good offense.
So Max Parent nearly got the second there for the Mustangs, but Davis made the save. And it was end-to-end stuff. This game's starting to open up here in the second. There's Owens now going to that shot. It kicks out into the zone. It's still loose. Digging at it there is Vyasov, and Davis got the paddle on it and just forced it out. Well, Mustangs with a shot of adrenaline here in this last 2 or 3 minutes or so, even though they are short-handed. Here's Lindsay. Just breaks into the zone. Get a good entry to the Northstars. Drolet. Lander calling for it at the point, but Lindsay throws it on net, and it's picked out of the air by Jayden Pine-Murphy.
We haven't really talked much about Jordan Owens. So Jordan Owens got picked up by the Mustangs, and this is his third game. He basically flew over from North America, said howdy doody, and they chucked him on a plane and flew him to the next game.
Yep.
So he didn't have much of a break. Well, he had no break.
Well, he was playing for Sheffield there in the AIHL last season. So 10 goals, 16 assists. But yeah, I think he's played pretty much everywhere. He's played in Germany, he's played in England, he's played in Denmark, and pretty long AIHL career.
You know, I just counted. He's had, I think, 8 years in the AHL.
This one's sent across. Picked up by Drolet as Bright rejoins the action as his penalty is over, and we're back to 5-on-5 hockey. The North Stars still have the puck. Here's Drolet now. Back to the point. It's sent to Malloy. His shot is put out there by Pine-Murphy, and the rebound comes back to the point now. Smart, nice delay, puts it over across to Drolet. His shot couldn't get through the 5-hole of Pine-Murphy. 2 key stops there for the Mustangs on as many shots as Malloy will sweep up at the back now here for Newcastle. 7:31 to go as the North Stars have increased their lead from the first intermission now here to 3-1. As Banga picks it up now over the blue line, drops it off. Southwood with a shot, kick save by Pine-Murphy. And, well, good play there from Newcastle to look for the trailer. But back the other way, here come the Mustangs. Parent to the outside, one-handed, looking for options. Hasn't got many of them. Forced to cycle this one back in behind the net. And to Jones, and well, they turn the puck over. And it's fired out to Naden. Just couldn't get a clean touch. It's going to be icing.
It's interesting. I think McDowell, Timo, if Boston wins the Cup, they'll be the first since Detroit. Michigan in 1935 won the NFL, NHL, and MLB in the same year. Well, there you go. Did you know that?
Yeah, there's like one thing Boston really needed was a championship, right? And to break that tough drought since, was it February when they won the Super Bowl? So the Patriots won the Super Bowl, but anyway, is Vyasov. Slipping at it there is Paddy Ward. As Isaacson just chips this one across. And up now here to Owens, top of the circle. Robinson calling for it at the point. He decides against it and tries to draw a couple of All-Stars players to it. Owens back now here to Vyasov in a bit deeper into the zone. Vyasov, nice moves from him, looking for an outlet pass. Hasn't got one, as Ward has him pretty well hemmed in, as does Lindsay. 6:23 to go. 2-goal lead here to Newcastle. If you just tuned in at the O'Brien Icehouse. It's the first playing third here in the AIHL. North Stars, as I said, they've only lost the 1 game so far. Here's Isaacson. Sent across, quick shot, and that one was comfortably saved by Davis. Robertson played it with a glove, so if it went in, it would not have counted anyway.
I mean, when you look at the firepower that the Mustangs have out there, so you've got Jordan Owens with Isaacson and
Max.
Vadum are like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, and Vadum's I think he's having one of the better years that he's had. He's got great hands, great speed. He just needs to get in the same mindset as the other two players, and they'll be just a force to be reckoned with, mate.
And that one whistled down as offside.
Now, what do you think about Parker Thomas playing defense? You're thinking, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, he played forward for the first weekend he arrived, and he had a really good influence on the game. Like I like his style of play. As I think I said last week or two, it's that Saskatchewan, that Midwestern Canada, hard-nosed, fast. Saskatchewan, sorry, Manitoba as well. Crash the net, use the goalie as a speed break. Kind of play, Chris Kunitz style. Anyway, here's Malloy and Scott Hartnell and all those great Plains boys. Back now here to Lander on the outside. He shoots that one off the side of the net. Picks up his own rebound though. Back now here to Malloy. And the Ferrari, his shot, and that one was blocked before it got through to Pine Murphy. And well, this one's going to go behind the net. And sent out to centre, but Anderson couldn't get a clean touch. Picked up by Drolet though, as he's onside. Got Banger in a pretty congested slot there. This one sent through. Pine Murphy wise to the initial save. It's loose. And looks like Flack is going to clean it up now here for the Mustangs. And well, sent out of the zone, and Northstars will go back and retrieve it. Won't go quite the required distance for icing, as Ward will sweep up now here for Newcastle. Pass in coming to Drolet. Took it on the turn. Brilliantly done. Drolet pulls up. Has Wetney and Banger. Decides against going to both of them. Decides to hold on to it. Tried to slip it through there to Banger and just couldn't get it through. Picked up here by Ward. Pitching in from the point. Exchanges places there with Wetney. It's shot on net. And that was stuffed out by Pine Murphy. Banger couldn't get it through to Wetney, who'd lined up for a shot. It's chipped out now here to Burke. As Smark is going to be on a one-on-one foot race with him into the corner. Good job from him to tie up Burke. As Wetney fires this one out of the zone. Down to McMahon and Bright. Sent across now here to Mainwaring. Dumps it in and goes for a bit of chip and chase, but he's going to be beaten to it there by Bright. Puts the check there on Bright. Makes him work for that pass as McMahon fires a long-range pass. He had almost a, 2 and a bit zones pass there to try and get Jamie Burke at the opposing blue line. As McMahon now flips this one up and Ferrari sends it right back. There's 3:31 to go with a 2-goal advantage here to the North Stars. Isaacson can't take it cleanly, and that's offside.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? You see that stretch pass, and the guy's 100 miles away, and you're trying to get it to him, and there's obstacles and everything else. And if you pull it off, it's great, but if you don't, you're in trouble. And there were a couple times there where they were looking for the wide guy, and they almost got picked off. You have to be very, very careful coming out of your own end, doing things like that.
Yep, that's my Senior C special. Coach killer.
Well,
don't pass it from there, goddammit.
Yeah, well, I tell my players that all the time, and they still do it.
As this one shot down by Stringer. And put back now here to McCoy. And Parent now takes it here for the Mustangs. Ferrari just fires that one in over the line. Parent will go back to get it with Hamish Powell in on the forecheck. Now to McCoy. McCoy gets around his man. He is dumped there. Malloy's going to get done for interference, I would believe, as he puts the check on Stringer. And yeah, he's not happy with that goal.
Let's see the replay.
So it did look... well, I knew it's sort of like walking that line between interference and a good hit. Let's have a look at this. So, Park...
Yeah, that's interference. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah,
he impeded the progress to the puck.
At full speed, it's a hard one in my opinion, because he's just chipped it past and then he's laid the hit. It's all about when you're committed to it, and
it comes back to interpretation. But
absolutely.
he was trying to get past him.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And he didn't have control of the puck like he.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
We could debate it till the cows come home.
Indeed, and I'm sure it'll be debated online for the same length. 2:35 to go.
1:44 remaining on the man advantage now here for the Mustangs. Sent out to the point. McMahon thought about the shot. One-time shot from Isaacson, gobbled up by Davis.
It's a great opportunity to have a go at this and score. It'd be great to go into the dressing room at 3-2, not 3-1. And really, that's what they. Ben Williams would rather bet against the Newcastle Northstars for the rest of the season than watch Boston win a single game in the Stanley Cup Finals. Yo, bro, I'm with you there.
I don't understand why, but in Australia, I know the most NHL or most hockey friends I have, they're all for some reason Boston fans. Why is that? There's not really a dearth of...
You can't answer that on the broadcast, okay? Because you'd get into trouble.
I don't understand why there's a dearth of Northeastern hockey fans. When there's so anyway, not that many people from upstate New York or, well, Massachusetts really, but New England. But you know, they have a pretty big catchment area, I'll say that, in terms of their fan base. As do the Patriots, obviously.
That seems to be everywhere outside of Texas. Here's McMahon now, his shot. And that goes wide. Picked up now here by Isaacson. Thomas now. Just drops this one off, looking for McMahon. Cranks one, and that one's kicked right back out and flipped out of the zone. And Pine Murphy will have to pick this one up here for the Mustangs.
He's playing well, and he seems to get better and better, Mr. McMahon.
Oh, this is probably his best season, I can recall
I would
anyway.
think so.
And it must be, I mean, since his second season in the Mighty Brews, he's come straight back off the plane. Didn't have the week off like a lot of them do, obviously, because of the fatigue and the energy and time commitment in that week. He went straight back into it, and he just hasn't taken the foot off the accelerator.
Yep.
So 1:10 to go. 20 seconds left on the penalty to Rob Malloy, his second penalty of the game. Sent the length of the ice. Burke gets it back in his own zone. And sent across the line. Parent just dangles around his man and broke the hip check there of Lindsay, but that kick was there to be made. And Robertson now just pulls up behind the line, and that's fired out of the zone. This might be icing against the Mustangs, but Jones did well to beat that one and cancel it out. 38 to go, and it trickles through to Davis, and he takes it just outside the crease.
There we go, Mr. Flaherty. So, Rod, you want to put a beer on the next time the Saints and Demons play? Yo, dude, I do, because I can assure you that it'll be a good game. I'll put 2 beers on it.
So this is A grade, right? Or are we going?
This is A grade.
Okay. I'm trying to I was going to say the only grade that matters, apparently, according to our producer. Don't forget, mate, there's some great hockey in C grade here. it's coming up after this game. As this shot now kicked aside by Davis. Back now here to Isaacson. As he chops at the puck. Can't put it on net. Good check applied there by Isaacson on Drolle. And this one sent all the way back into the Mustang zone. No icing. It was a deemed touch. We're back to 5-on-5 as Malloy is back out on the ice for Newcastle. And the puck now is dumped out of the zone. And that's going to be icing the other way.
So deemed, that's a big word. Okay. Like, you know what? I love it when I'm doing this with you. Because, Anthony Russell enjoying the game over my morning cuppa. Depth of this Newcastle team remains impressive. Mustangs just not finding that extra gear they need to overcome. Well, they had the extra gears out there, and then they sort of put them away.
Yeah. I mean, particularly after that. Well, speaking of extra gears, Jordan Owens is going to need one to get a shot off. He shoots, and Davis to save. And he covers well.
Yeah. What do you want to bet, dude, that if he had 5 more seconds on that, he wouldn't have been doing that? He was just smart enough. He knew the clock, right? Yep. And he had no option but to do that.
Well, a timely tweet and a timely save as Owens hit 5th gear there to get in close enough for a shot. And Davis keeps it out. And that will do it for the second period. 3-1 in favor of Newcastle. Rod, how did you see that one?
Well, I saw that, unfortunately, we're down 3-1. And once again, you got to stay out of the box, right? And I think that the Mustangs are going to have their work cut out for them. They had an opportunity to get back in the game on that power play, and it just never came off. And then God gave them a blessing of a breakaway with 10 seconds left, or 5 seconds left, okay? Yep. Wouldn't it have been great if they'd have scored there? So.
Yep. Well, we'll see what happens in period number 3. It's a 2-goal margin to the leading Newcastle Northstars. We'll be back with the third period right after this.
And we're back for the drop of the puck. Third period of play here between the Mustangs and the Northstars. The Northstars with a 2-goal lead over the Melbourne Mustangs here. Trying to reverse last Sunday's loss to the Mustangs up in Newcastle. And so far, so good as far as they're concerned. This one prodded out to Michael McMahon with a long-range shot, and Davis holds on.
So I have a good friend in Canada who loves calling me Captain Obvious.
Yep.
So I'm going to make a statement that is fairly obvious, okay? The next goal could be very, very important, all right? So
Is he going to be the John Madden of the AIHL?
I think so, dude. So if the North Stars score the next goal, the Mustangs will have a long, long, hard road home. If the Mustangs score the next goal, it's going to be very interesting.
So if that makes, I'll try and be Chris Collinsworth. Now here's a guy who's got the puck. And it moved out now here to Southwood. Picked to Thomas, chips this one off the kick plate. And then Lindsay slaps this one, but it's cut off by Thomas again, and he wheels back into his own zone. And it starts out now here for the Mustangs. Looks like he's got a strap loose there. Picked up now here by Jones. Cranks one, but it was offside. Late whistle. I don't think that will be a misconduct.
I think if you look at a couple of the players, you'll see that it looks like there's a strap loose, but it's actually, I think, a drawstring on the pants or something like that.
Yeah, I thought it was his tie-down strap for his jersey, but it wasn't. Let's hope he doesn't use it. In this league, you wouldn't be using that tie-down strap all that often, you would hope. As the puck picked up now here by the North Stars, and they start out again. Here to Andre Smark, as we talked about, will be out leaving the North Stars at the completion of this weekend. As that trolley tried to jam it home. Off the kick plate there, Ferrari pokes at it. A couple of mid-season departures, or not even mid, third of the way season departures. Braden Lowe from the CBR Brave will be returning home. As Flack now over the line. Flack just tried to cut to the top of the circle. Good check there from Smark. As the Mustangs have control here through Burke. Forced to cycle and relinquish control. Chipped off the boards there by Ferrari. Prodded at there by Wetney. And here's Malloy. Wetney just slaps that one up to Drolet. Progress being a little slow now here for the North Stars as the Mustangs have the wall up across the centre line. But they get it out now here to Isaacson. Just goes off the boards. And, well, Lander was looking to skate onto the puck, but McCoy was wiser to it. Just onside. Drops it off to Isaacson. His shot, and that one steered aside by Dane Davis. It's 17:58 remains here in the third period. This one might open up now here for Newcastle. Around the outside they go through Ryan. McCoy pins him to the boards. Lander sends it out to the point. Ward with a shot, and it's blocked up high. Lindsay just chips this one back into the zone, and the Mustangs will be forced to break out of their own defensive zone. Vyasov just playing the seagull roll there at the blue line. They're going to cancel out icing as Owens is going to arrive to the puck before any Newcastle players do. McMahon intended there for Vyasov, went off the skates of the referee. And, well, good hit there on Vyasov by Lander. A couple of Eastern Europeans colliding. Don't see that too often in European hockey. A little subtle, hard to dig at Euro hockey there. 7:15 to go. Here's Bright. As this one's sent up now, Malloy picks this one off at the blue line. I'm sure Anders will put in a tweet about that in a sec. Here's Naden.
I know, he'll be too busy with his pickled herring.
A big collision there as Thomas went looking for the hit. And steamrolling through there was Southwood. He just shook the check off. And Isaacson fires this up. Nice pass to Owens. Looking for the trail, and Thomas. The imports nearly combining there for the Mustangs. They have the puck locked in. Here's Erzin with a drive and straight into the breadbasket of Dane Davis.
That's the best thing that Isaacson's done today. That was, if you watch, that's two great moves. And then he saw the guy wide and gave him a perfect pass. He's been pretty quiet today, I thought, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, by his standards particularly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about Francis Droulet.
Drolet, yep.
He's played, I think, a very good game today.
Yeah, he has.
He's had the puck a lot of times, and he set a lot of people up. He seems like a pretty smart player with a half-decent skill set.
Yeah. 7 goals on the year so far. So he's he played a lot of time over in France. He is French-Canadian, but some time in the coast before that, Knoxville, Orlando, and the Wheeling Nailers. So
who's been a good find for Newcastle this year. Back now here to Wurzen. And this one blocked, and Ferrari's going to get there, or will he? As the puck put into the corner, chipped out into the neutral zone, as Thomas just takes a look over the shoulder and wheels around. And the Mustangs will have to reset. 16 minutes to play here in the third period. Jones just had the puck poked away from him. Here's Anderson. Off the kick blade it goes, and Banga just clears some time and space now here for his compatriots to get a line change. And some fresh legs on the ice now here for Newcastle. As the puck comes back now here to Andre Smark, who just has to retreat a little bit as Lander was wise to the check there of Burke. Went digging for a second bite, did Lander. Lost his edge in the end, and the Mustangs swing around and turn the puck straight back over. They get it back though. But Lander makes sure of it with the dump in there on the net of Jaden Pine-Murphy. And he heads to the bench on a change, as we talked about. Has his PR now, so he counts as a local. That opens up another spot there for Newcastle. As Ward cranks that one into the zone. And Jaden Ryan takes it back now for the North Stars. Powell helps it the rest of the way, cancels out icing by getting the heel of his stick onto it. As Molloy gets onto the ice, and he's going to be called into action straight away as Jack McCoy goes hard at the puck in the corner. Cycled through now here to Smark in the opposite corner.
Have you noticed the Mustangs have shuffled their lines a little bit? And
Yeah.
You've got Jack McCoy, who's played defense for
Ever.
100,000 years,
Yeah.
playing forward.
It looks like Isaacson's been moved up now to Owen, with between Owens and Burke. Now this one fired up now here to Burke. Out on said line, Isaacson and Owens. Oh, and stood up there, shaking that check off from mate Waring there was Bright. As Owens bursts down the far side, avoids the hit from Malloy, loses an edge in the process, slapped up the boards. Owens now slides it through to Isaacson, tried to drop that back, looking there for Vyasov, who just come on the ice. And McMahon will fire this one back up now here to Owens, and they'll go for a second bite at nice clean zone entry. Vyasov was just onside. He has the puck now at the side of the net. Vyasov delays, shoots. Davis covers after covering most of the net.
Well, I've got to put a good plug in for these guys, but to be honest with you, they're going to have to get together and put a puck in the net. There's power everywhere. Eighth, new to the game, why don't they just pick up the puck and run with it? Then the other team can't hit it for a home run. I'm loving it, dude. I'll ask my colleague that question.
Well, they can't run with it on fourth down. I mean, they don't have the mileage there in the defensive zone, so so this one slapped up now here to Lake. Of course, it's 3 points from outside the blue line, so you might want to take a long-range shot. All right, well, we'll start with the cross-sport analogies. Here's Owens.
Where's the key?
No, that little blue paint in front of the goaltender. Here's Isaacson. That until the North Stars bench protesting that was offside. Pretty close, I would say.
Let's go to the video, dude.
As Drolet. As Vyasov slides it across to Isaacson and then to Owens. Did well to take that one and get onside, and looked for the return feed to Isaacson, who had actually dropped in behind him. And so the puck just goes into the corner. As the North Stars break back the other way, Banga. A few North Stars fans have made the trip down to Melbourne for this weekend. Always good to see the road fans down here in Melbourne.
And I wonder, do they stay at the Quest?
Well, I'm sure the Quest Docklands, your accommodation provider of choice is Anderson.
Well, in actual fact, it's Quest Docklands and Quest Newquay.
Yes. So, nice subtle plug there, Rod Johns. Well played.
Thank you.
That's
Stan Scott, my buddy. AHL Game Day. It's good to have you boys back. Tipping a shootout. Well, we were thinking about that, Stan. So tell me, are you cracking a red one
a Sandalford
at
wine.
the moment?
We'll go for other team sponsors, shall we? Here's Robertson now. Oh, boy, it's the third period. It's always the long period. As this one sent across now here to Anderson. In over the blue line, trying to cut towards the top of the slot. Anderson shoots, and well, straight at Davis.
He didn't get a lot on that either. He did the right thing. He cut back in front, And I'm sure if you had that to do all over again, you want to get a bit more wood on it and make Mr. Davis work harder.
So
right here, hey, look at that. He had the exact right idea. He had a bit of a screen going too.
So, 2 goals still the difference. 12-16 to play here at the O'Brien Icehouse. Don't forget, tomorrow, 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, the Melbourne Ice and the Newcastle Northstars will do battle. And of course, 2 other games being played across the AIHL. We have some updates for you there. 3-1 to the Sydney Ice Dogs after 2 periods. That's a little bit of, well, not so much an upset. It was very close last weekend, 4-3 between those 2 teams. The Brave taking that one out as this one slipped up to centre ice. And this one will have to be broken back out now here by the Mustangs. Long range pass, and Jamie Burke was toasting marshmallows there at the blue line. He'd camped out so long. As Main Waring picks the puck up and now bursts out down the far side. He's got Drolet and he's got Lindsay. Main Waring now cuts to the net, looks for Lindsay, a trailer. It's losing the puck. What a save by Pine Murphy. He robbed Pat Naden. Wow. And very nearly 4-1, not for the goaltending of Jaden Pine Murphy. Here's Owens with a drive.
Shot.
And yes, use the defenseman as a screen.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great play. Good little snapshot or a wrist shot, and use of the screen is perfect, mate.
And the Adelaide Adrenaline and Sydney Bears all locked up at 2 apiece in the third. So the Adrenaline, well, doing the goods so far. Michael Schlamp, unfortunately, has left the game injured. And well, I only spoke to Schlampy on the podcast on Wednesday night. Not sure if that's... not going to say if that's going to be the mocker or something here. Here's Drolet now. Slid it across, and they score!
Jesus.
Whitney gets one here for Newcastle. It's 4-1.
But look who set him up, though. So it's exactly what we talked about at the start of the period, okay? Mr. Drolet, and that was a great little setup on a cross pass.
Man, Newcastle turning it on here. Let's have a look at this again.
Yep, here we go. Watch this. Thank you very much. Who's picking him up? No one, okay? Can't coast back. Got to be on that guy.
So, Matt Whitney, that's his first goal of the season, and what a way to bring it up. 4-1 here to the Northstars with 10:48 remaining. And the Newcastle Northstars now extend their advantage to 3 goals. It's loose in front. It might be 4 as Naden's digging at it. Pine Murphy keeps it out. Didn't really see what there was. That was a defensive lapse there.
Yeah,
from the
I think
Mustangs.
so, for sure.
This one chipped out the other way. As Lander and Jones collide at centre. Smart just throws it out to centre. Naden. And that's going to be icing as Jones didn't get a stick on the puck.
Well,
And Anderson and Naden have a little tangle at centre.
was it a friendly tangle, or I missed that?
Oh, well, not sure. But as we talked about, Northstars, should they win this game, which they're looking increasingly likely to do, even though there's plenty of hockey left. They've got 24 points. They'll open up a 6-point lead on the CBR Brave, who, if they lose tonight against the Dogs, are currently sitting on 18. As we talk, as it's loose in front. Oh, saved by Pine Murphy. And it's just becoming too easy at the moment here for Newcastle.
Northstars were wide open and allowed to walk in again, and Pine Murphy had to take it away from him, and that was a blessing for both clubs. One for the Northstars to get the opportunity, and the other one for the Mustangs to get the save.
Indeed. Here's Lander now. He cuts to the top of the circle. His shot kicked out there by Pine Murphy. And comes back the other way now here for the Mustangs. Jones over the line, delays, looks for a trailer, can't get one. It's picked off here by Newcastle. Possible 2-on-1 here. Here's Malloy to the outside. Malloy drives, and Robertson did enough to force him off the puck. And some protests again from the Northstars bench.
Well,
RE penalties.
Very, very, very lucky for the Mustangs that they didn't get an interference call, because there was a dandy little hook going on.
Drolet now. Oh, just kept that onside. Oh, there's a hook. That's not called. Lindsay. Banger did well to burst through traffic and hand that one off. Malloy just keeps it on. Great hit. What a hit there from Rob Malloy. But comes back now here to Flack. Got Burke calling for it. He gets stood up. And away come the Northstars as Banga and Parent now. Now back to Burke. Did well to get that pass off to Flack, just onside. Flack waiting for options to present themselves. Centers it. Lindsay's skate was the difference as Parent collides there with his man. And that's sent across now. McMahon will do a job just to keep this one alive. McMahon just chips this one in below the goal line. It's at the side of the net. Davis has got it covered. Burke went digging at it. It's loose, and Davis gathers it in and holds on.
I think Mr. McCoy got his bell rung big time there. Watch this. He had his head down. He didn't see him coming.
Bang.
Whammo.
Great hit.
Yeah.
Rob Malloy, no stranger to the physicality, loves it.
Yeah.
And he got it done hard by one of those calls earlier, but that was a good stiff check.
Jack took a while to get up, and he certainly got hit pretty good.
Sure, Dusty will be dusting himself off after that one. Not all of us can make sharp puns today, Rod Johns.
No.
So this one dug in the corner. Back now here, McMahon, and that one's deflected wide. As well, Davis didn't know where it was. Ferrari did, and he tries to clear the zone, or at least buy himself some time. McMahon's going to get a second crack. That one banked.
That one was blocked by Nate, who was shaking his own hand. Looks like he got a chop on the way in front of the net there. Bright drops this one off now here to McMahon. Sent up to Owens, waiting for the pass. Ferrari does enough there to force him off it. As McMahon just fires this one up, it's going to be icing as Smark gets back for the North Stars.
So, a serious thing here. It's 7.5 minutes left, almost 8 minutes. Sparkle Pants Clark, get together and put the puck in the net, genius. Advice Rod. Would you say they need to get in deep? You bet you, baby. On a serious note, though, with this kind of time left, right, and things going the way they are, I'd almost be tempted to call a timeout to have a bit of a think about what we're doing here. It's 4-1. Anthony Russell, superb goal from the North Stars for number 4. Pye Murphy with less support at the back than a broken chair. Well, Anthony, that's very clever. I like that. Okay, yeah. And you're right. He needs to have people picking up the free skater.
Yeah, I mean that goal was just Drolet did well to draw the man to him, but Whitney, as Flack gets laid out there by Lane into the glass, and now here to Anderson. So the physicality in this third period has gone up a couple of notches. Here's McDowell over the blue line, got Anderson going towards the net, and that shot was wide and off the glass. Lane and Ryan got to it first, but Thomas has it now here for the Mustangs. Jones at center ice, wheels around and goes over the blue line. Jones drops it off. Thomas the trailer. And good defensive effort there from Matt Lindsay to clear the zone. There's Drolet looking to force his man wide. Ward's going to be the first man on the scene for Newcastle. Sends it back down here to Lindsay with Owens approaching on the forecheck. Out come Newcastle. Whitney, the goal scorer from just moments ago. Drolet to the outside, does well to stave off a couple of Mustangs players. Still got the puck now, drops it off. Malloy cranks it. Looking for the tip there from Whitney. And man, is he having a third period and a half.
That was a great setup. It wasn't the right shot, though. Too much time and space on the shot, but a good play by Drolet again.
And that's was offside, cancelled out as Robertson tries to get the puck out, only as far as Ferrari, who puts it right back to where it came from. 6:20 to go as Newcastle. Owens down, finds it across to Wydnick, and they score! Almost a mirror image of the last goal from Newcastle. They isolate Davis, and they've clawed one back.
So watch Jordan on this play, because there's a guy on him, but he sees, was it Isaacson that put that away?
Yep.
So he sees Isaacson, and a slide across, and no one's on Isaacson. Davis has a big job ahead of him to stop the puck. Look, wide open, okay? Bingo. And a good move as he's falling, too.
Yep. So Christian Isaacson, his 6th goal of the 2019 season. He leads all Mustangs players, 10 points on the year, and 2 goals to margin. Now here with 6:10 remaining. Here's Bright now as McDowell comes out now here to Bright, top of the slot, and that's swatted out. As Mainwaring had lost a glove at center, and he was appealing to the referee, but he comes back the other way with the puck instead. Mainwaring shoots, looking for the rebound. Pye Murphy kept that one out. And away come the Mustangs. You can feel a bit of a lift now here against the Mustangs fans and on the Mustangs bench and on the ice. As McDowell has the puck now. Back to McMahon. He slaps one on net and Davis holds on.
Good play by McMahon again, though, right? Because he doesn't play around with the puck. He gets it right back into play, and Davis has to be on his game. And it was a good low shot.
As we have a look at the North Stars coaching staff. Ray Sheffield, Joe Terrio, John F. Kennedy.
You haven't said anything about Joe's attire. Because we were commenting last game about the Mustangs coaches and even Fridge, how they were all dressed up.
Well, JFK is just sharp-dressed man as always. Joey Terrio letting himself a little bit down with that jacket, mate. Yeah. But so 5:28. There's plenty of time left in the season to atone for that. As Owens has the puck now for the Mustangs. Vyasov to the outside. Lander trying to pick that one off. Vyasov gives him the shove. It's hand to Isaacson. He fell to his knees and then got a pass off now here to Thomas, who gets put into the glass there by Powell. And a big stiff shoulder there from Isaacson on Lander, but there's some time and space now here for the North Stars. As Ryan just throws that one on net, though. Didn't have much else on offer. And we'll get a whistle.
So, getting back to the dress code there.
Yep.
Who do you reckon's the best dress code?
Well,
actually, go back to your little quote there. That was a ZZ Top song. You know that?
Which one? Sharp Dressed Man.
Sharp Dressed Man.
I was always a fan of the Viva Las Vegas remake they did. It's a bit before my time, though. Here's Banger. And sent him front, and then that one was blocked there by Parent, who just tried to fire that one out of the zone, but now here to Ferrari. As Wetney's stick is being held there by Jones. No penalty call on that. Interesting. Burke now one-on-one there with Smart. And Sean Jones went looking for someone, found the glass instead. This one chipped up. Now here's Drolet. Robertson.
Good move.
Misread that one. Here's Drolet now. Drolet centers this one across, and almost an identical play to their last goal. Banger was sitting there at the other circle waiting for the pass, and it just eluded him. Burke now with the move through centre. Oh, he's hit hard there by Wetney. What a hit. Hip check, you don't see them too often anymore as Drolet gets the puck. And some big hits in this game. Here's Burke now with the puck back the other way. Burke around one, potentially around two, but Paddy Ward says no. And the Mustangs looking for the goal to make it one in terms of the difference, and that was deflected before Davis saved it. We'll get a whistle.
So you watch the play here. We'll probably get a replay on this.
So
right.
It's holding the stick. That's a holding the stick penalty all day.
Absolutely.
Well, 3 or 4 attempts at it.
And here's the hit.
Here's the hit.
Boom.
So you saw him coming, right? And one thing I'll say about Jamie, he got hit pretty good, and he got back up. He made a couple of comments, but he got back in the play, whereas other people would have lied on the ice.
Yeah. Nothing in that at all.
No, it was a good hit.
Yeah. As McMahon. 3:37 to go. Vyasov now. Just peels off. Back up now here to McMahon. McMahon over the blue line. And just sent that one in front of Davis. Almost ricocheted off him and into the net. And it's come back the other way. 3:16 to go. As that one steered aside. And well, North Stars trying to break this one out. That ricocheted off the skate of Owens. A shot there from McMahon as Nathan puts the hit there on Thomas. Vyasov now. As players collide behind. Back now here to Thomas. Just keeps it on side. As Nathan almost tripped over the linesman. As the North Stars are under pressure here a bit. We'll keep an eye on Pine Murphy if he decides to head to the bench. Still a little early, I would assume. 2:40 to go. As Ward diving. Poke check from him, but the Mustangs are still offside. That's going to be offside indeed, and we'll get a whistle. So, as we talked about, 2 games tomorrow. As the North Stars will play the Melbourne Ice, and then the Perth Thunder will take on the Sydney Bears over in the West. Just the one game for the Thunder this weekend. They usually play. It's always usually a double header over in Perth. As Banger just over the goal line. Well, the Bears are up 3-2 over the Adelaide Adrenaline in Adelaide as players fight for the puck there in front of Pine Murphy. 2:16 to go.
The Adrenaline were looking for their first points
Of the year, and that one is covered
by Dane Davis. So,
Michael Clough.
Josh Eunice.
Hard to beat Josh Eunice a few final series back. Well, what do you reckon?
Yeah, that's a bit of a blast from the past. CBR Brave goalie, then became the coach towards the playoffs. Remember, he had that scary incident where the goal frame fell on him. I believe that was in Sydney, if my memory serves me correctly, but he ended up behind the bench. Still 3-1 between the Ice Dogs and Brave up in Sydney. So another close one there, only 2 goals to margin. 2 goals to margin here in Melbourne.
And you know, the funny thing is, anything can happen. Like, you get a bounce, right? And it's 4-3. And, you know, if you ever think about it, even in the NHL, and you, like, I don't know if you watched that game with, I think it was Las Vegas, and there was a hit, and they were up. They were going to win the whole thing.
Yeah, and then
and then it all went to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah. It is often those momentum-changing moments in series where, like, it just swings the other way on the basis of one play because the team just gets the belief.
So it's 2 minutes left, and you're thinking, oh, you got this one in the bag. But you know what? That's when things go wrong.
So for the Mustangs, after tonight, they'll have tomorrow off, and then they'll have the Melbourne Derby here next Friday evening, 7:30.
Are we calling that?
I believe we are. It's a Mustangs home game. And then they'll play the Adelaide Adrenaline next Sunday. Adrenaline in town for their second double-header of the season.
Yep.
They were here the first week of the season, so they'll take on the Ice on the Saturday and the Mustangs on the Sunday. 2 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time. 2 minutes to go here, and a 2-goal margin is the story at the Icehouse. As that shot from Parent was blocked up high and sent out now as Lander races in on the forecheck. Lander, empty net now here for the Mustangs as 6 skaters are on the ice as they throw caution to the wind and go for the 2-goal margin. Is set now here to Parent. He fires from a tight angle, and Davis with a comfortable save.
Well, you can't blame them. You've got to do it, right? So at the end of it all, it doesn't matter if you lose by 2 goals or by 3 goals. You've got to have a go. And you know, the number of times I've had to explain that to people that, well, why would you pull your goalie? You know what I'm saying? You're going to lose.
Yeah.
So you might as well have a go at it.
Exactly right. Here's McMahon. One-time blast there from Thomas. Plenty of sauce on that as McMahon swings this around now here to Thomas over the line. Dumps this one back in. But went into the chest of Drolet. He tried to clear it. Just cleared onside there by Isaacson. Good effort from him. Back at the goal. At the post, and it's in!
There you go.
The initial shot went off the post, and then I believe that went off Smark as he was going to the ice. And I think Matt Anderson's going to get credited with the goal.
And you know, the funny thing I was just about to say to you is Jamie Burke's not on the ice, but Matty's out there, so that was probably a good call. Watch this. Well, yeah.
Yep, just got a stick on it there at the end.
That's right. He redirected it, and it's in. So there's a minute left, 4-3. So there you go. This is anybody's game.
And looks like Coach Kennedy is Coach Terrio seems to be disputing the call.
Well, I think he thought it wasn't in. And, you know, when I saw it at first, I thought, like you said, it looked like it hit the post, but there's no doubt the net moved, okay? So I don't blame him for asking the question.
Yeah.
So now the Mustangs got to get the puck down into the Northstars end, pull their goalie again, and just do it all over again for fun.
Well, Stan Scott could be on the money. He could be getting a shootout, but still a dollar and change left here in this third period.
Well, you know, again, if you're the Northstars, you just got to put the pedal to the metal and not let up, you know. And if you're the Mustangs, well, it's the same in reverse.
And Owens now up to Vyasov. He dumps this one in. Pine Murphy off the ice again. McDowell is the extra skater here for the Mustangs.
And Thomas fires that one on the net of Davis, and he takes it catcher style there
for the Northstars. had a great game tonight, Dane Davis, despite the 4-3 scoreline.
Yep. Well, you know, you and I do these picks for the 3 stars, and inevitably you're waiting, and then you have to hand the sheet in, and Mr. Davis is one of the picks.
Yep.
So I hope for his sake that they win the game.
Well, now 3-2 between the Brave and the Ice Dogs. The Dogs the Brave clawing one back through Andy Carmen's zone. As it's 3-3 between the Adelaide Adrenaline and the Sydney Bears with 30 seconds remaining.
There you go. Hopefully they'll get a point or a win.
Yeah, well, at least it'll go to a shootout or overtime, then a shootout. Yeah. So 45 seconds remaining here. A tense one. And Brian Icehouse, the North Stars with the 1 goal. One-time blast there from Thomas. Davis had to be sharp as it's loose in front. Turnaround shot from McMahon, and that's blocked up high. North Stars under attack here in their own end as that one roofed out by Malloy, and he buys his team a good couple of seconds, prodding at it, looking for the breakaway there was Lander. The Mustangs will have to get a good entry now. Here's Thomas, 22 seconds remaining to the outside. The crowd urging him on. Thomas still has the puck. Tried to send that one there to McMahon, who pinched in, and well, that might come to Banga, and he gets it out. 13 seconds. One more scoring opportunity now here for the Mustangs. They touch this one just onside, but they're offside now, and they have to regroup. There's 5 seconds remain as the North Stars look like they're going to shoot this one from the other end as Malloy went looking for it, and the Newcastle Northstars hold on to win this game 4-3.
Well, that was very interesting, wasn't it? I mean, you know, at 4-1, they're written off. The next thing you know, it's 4-3. And so it's unfortunate because if you think back to the first period, Mustangs totally dominated the first 6 minutes of the game.
Yep.
And then it's interesting, you get a penalty, all of a sudden there's a score, and they never really, I don't think, recovered from that until the swing in the third period when they're trying to come back, you know?
Yep.
So it's a funny thing. You go to Newcastle, you beat them in their own building. Newcastle comes here, and they beat us in our own building.
Yep.
So not necessarily what the home team wants, but it just goes to show you that both teams are competitive, and it'll be an interesting year.
Yeah, well, 2 really good games in 2 weeks here from between both teams.
Yeah.
That third period for mine, the physicality went up a couple of notches there, and that really opened it up, I thought.
Yeah, for sure.
Malloy laying some good hits, Thomas, and got a little niggly, but that's what you want this level.
And the good thing, too, was that the hits were solid and they weren't dirty, okay?
Yeah.
So, you know, Parker Thomas laid somebody out earlier in the game, and that was a good, solid hit, you know? And you just, that's what I tell my own players when they start complaining. I say, look, dude, this is ice hockey, okay?
Yep.
It's a physical game. If you don't want to be playing a physical game, go knit socks.
Or scarves, or jumpers.
Exactly.
Is that what you really say, Brian?
You betcha I do, dude.
I mean, all those locker room addresses, I'm sure.
Yeah.
but that will do it here from the O'Brien Icehouse. It's the Newcastle Northstars 4. They defeat the Melbourne Mustangs 3. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow from 2 p.m. Eastern as the Northstars will take on the Melbourne Ice. On behalf of my co-commentator Rod Johns, I'm Steve White. We'll see you next time.
See you, dude.
At the AIHL.